please say the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we're going to be starting off, we got two public hearings. The first public hearing is for local law 2, our tax cap override. You want to read it?
Sure. Local law number 2 of 2025, a local law to override the tax levy limit for fiscal year 2026, be enacted by the town board of the town of Homer as follows. Section 1, authority. This local law is enacted pursuant to subdivision 5 of New York General Municipal Law, section 3C, the property tax cap law, which expressly authorizes the town board to override the tax levy limit by the adoption of a local law approved by affirmative vote of 60% of the town board. Section 2, purpose. The purpose of this local law is to permit the town board to override the tax levy limit on the amount of property taxes that may be levied by the town of Homer pursuant to the property tax cap law, and to allow the town to adopt a budget for fiscal year 2026 that requires a real property tax levy in excess of the tax levy limit as defined by property tax cap law. Section 3, tax levy limit override. The town of Homer town board is hereby authorized to override the tax levy limit established pursuant to New York General Municipal Law for fiscal year 2026 to adopt a budget for fiscal year 2026 that requires a real property tax levy in excess of the amount otherwise prescribed in the New York General Municipal Law. Section 4 is just a severability clause, and Section 5 says effective date will be immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State.
So that's for the public hearing. Any comments from the?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, a couple questions about the budget, if I can, because the budget informs the tax levy.
I'm gonna be honest right now.
Yeah.
You could ask your questions. I'm not gonna answer any questions on the budget right now till we get into it because the board hasn't even heard it. So ask your questions. But it's gonna be hard for me to explain it right now because the board, we haven't gone through the budget.
Sure. Okay, so if my math is right, the total town spending is up 1.5%. I understand the revenue is way down due to the county's sales tax issue. So it seems, again, if you want to address this once we get there, my math says that the tax rate is going up 20% from 232 to 286 per thousand of assessed value. So I did want to ask about two spending increases that I noticed on the 2026 proposed budget. The first is that the town board salary is proposed to go from $2,500 for each board member to $5,000 for each board member. And then the second is the town clerk salary is from 85 to 97. I understand that encompasses, I assume it encompasses a few positions. So I was hoping that you could.
Yep, when we get to it, I will address that for
Yeah,
you.
tell us about,
Okay. Yep.
about that. That's
Yep, we will, yes. Any other comments on the? So as far as the public hearing, we're gonna vote on this tax cap override later tonight. So this is for the public right now. Any others on the tax cap override? So that's, yes.
The village is probably gonna do the same thing. It's an insurance measure for us as we are still figuring things out. But given the significant reductions that we're seeing from the county, it is, and for those that may not be aware, just because implementation of the tax cap doesn't, or overriding it, doesn't mean it's going to happen. It gives the boards the flexibility to override it. If this doesn't pass, or if this doesn't approve now, then you are stuck with staying under the 2% or whatever the increase is as mandated by the state, which could theoretically be less than 2%, depending upon how the numbers turn out. So the people here should understand that this is not a guarantee, but this is just being fiscally responsible by having this measure now. And I just want to let you know that we'll probably be doing the same thing at the village level as we go through this process.
The comptroller, because I did get in touch with the comptroller, they said it is a 2% this year. And we're guaranteed to well exceed 2%. Let's just see when we get to the budget. Any other comments on tax cap? Okay, so the hearing for the tax cap is closed. Now we're gonna open up the public hearing for local law 3, the moratorium on the solar and windmill. So does everybody have a copy of that? Do you wanna, it's quite lengthy. Do you need this one read out loud or did you read it? And is there any comments from, well, I guess the public doesn't have it, so I guess. Would somebody else like to volunteer to read this, or are you up to it, Dan?
I can read it if the board would like.
Does the board want? I think we have to do it for the public.
Okay.
My voice won't take it. So if you want to do it.
Bear with me, it's gonna take a while. Local law number 3 of 2025 of the town of Homer, a local law adopting a moratorium on certain energy production and storage uses in the town of Homer. Be enacted by the town board, town of Homer, Portland County, New York as follows. Section 1 title. This local law shall be referred to as a local law adopting a moratorium on certain energy production and storage uses in the town of Homer. Section 2 authority and intent. Pursuant to the statutory powers vested in the town board of the town of Homer by the New York State Constitution and New York Municipal Home Rule Law Section 10, to regulate and control land use and to protect the public health, safety, and welfare of its residents. The purpose of this law is to maintain the status quo as to certain energy production and storage uses, namely the commercial installation of major solar energy systems, wind energy systems, and battery storage banks and other similar energy storage equipment. The present zoning regulations in the town do not adequately address this type of energy production and storage as related to alternative energy systems such as major solar collection systems or solar farms, wind energy systems, hydroelectric systems, geothermal energy systems, and bioenergy systems. The moratorium will stop the processing of applications for and the issuance of any permits, certificates of occupancy, and approvals for certain land uses relating to energy storage equipment or the above listed alternative energy systems, as well as the installation of major solar installations and commercial wind energy systems. Take a breath. The moratorium is for a period of 6 months, allowing the town board to analyze and determine potential appropriate revisions and amendments to the town of Homer zoning law concerning this issue. Section 3, legislative findings. The town of Homer Town Board does hereby find that without a temporary halt on the processing, permitting, and approvals of certain energy production and storage land uses, there is the potential that such uses could be located in unsuitable areas within the town and or on particular lots without adequate dimensional regulations in place. The potential for the unsuitable location of and lack of proper dimensional regulations for such uses would have materially adverse and irreversible impacts on the town. The town board also finds that given the fast rate of emerging technology, it is in need of time to perform the necessary comprehensive analysis of the potential types of energy production and storage facilities that could be located in the town. By maintaining the status quo regarding such uses, the town board can provide for the planned and safe orderly growth and development of the town. Section 4, moratorium imposed, applicability. For a period of 6 months after the effective date of this local law, no new application may be processed and no permits, certificates of occupancy, approvals, denials, I think I'm missing something here. I'm missing a page. Where did we leave off? Denials, determinations, or interpretations may be issued or granted for any land uses related to major solar energy systems, commercial wind energy systems, or battery banks for alternative energy storage, except for projects for which any application was pending in the town of Homer prior to the effective date of this local law. The term land use relating to battery banks for alternative energy storage shall be broadly construed to include any facility or equipment designed to store energy or electricity to be marketed, sold, or used for other than the power demands of the improvements on the property on which such facility is located. Not included within the scope of this moratorium are energy production and storage equipment and facilities designed to generate electricity or store power solely for the residential use of the improvements located on the same property or for the charging of residential automobile batteries. This local law shall be binding on the town board, planning board, zoning board of appeals, building inspector, all town officials and employees, and any applicant or real property owner in the town desiring to apply for or receive a permit, certificate of occupancy, or approval in the town of Homer. During the period of the moratorium, the town board shall endeavor to complete all reasonable and necessary review, study, analysis, and, if warranted, revision to the town of Homer zoning. During the period of the moratorium, no applications will be accepted, nor permits, certificates of occupancy, or approvals issued, which would authorize development within the town for land uses relating to major solar energy systems, commercial wind energy systems, or alternative energy storage as described above. This moratorium shall not apply to any permit applications or prohibit the issuance of building permits, certificates of occupancy determinations, or interpretations related to projects for which any application was pending in the town of Homer prior to the effective date of this local law. Section 5, term. The moratorium shall be in effect for a period of 6 consecutive months from its effective date. The local law shall be subject to renewal for a period of up to an additional 6 months if deemed necessary by resolution of the town board. Section 6, effect on other laws. To the extent that any local law, ordinance, rule, or regulation, or parts thereof are in conflict with the provisions of this local law, including all provisions of Article 16 of the New York State Town Law concerning special use permit, site plan, building permit, and certificate of occupancy procedures and requirements, this local law shall control and supersede such law, ordinance, rule, or regulation during the term of the moratorium. Section 7 is variance. Due to the limited scope and duration of this moratorium, there is no provision being made in this local law for any waivers to its applicability. However, any property owner affected by this moratorium may apply to the Zoning Board of Appeals and make use of existing use variance procedures under the Town of Homer zoning law to seek relief from the restrictions of this local law. Section 8, any person who shall violate a provision of this local law will be guilty of a violation and subject to a fine not to exceed $1,000 per offense. Each week of persisting violation shall be deemed a separate offense. It shall be the duty of the code enforcement officer and zoning enforcement officer to enforce the provisions of this local law. The town shall be entitled to injunctive relief to cease any and all violations which conflict with this local law, and shall be entitled to an order directing the removal of any construction or improvements which have been deemed to violate this local law. Section 9, again, it's a severability clause, and effective date will be immediately on filing with the Secretary of State.
Okay.
That's it.
Comments from the public?
The state can still override that, right? Go on for them.
I believe on the bigger projects, there's 2 ongoing projects. Anything that's been permitted at this point continues. But the state overrides on the big projects.
Yeah, they could. They certainly could.
But they'll take a hard look at it, though. It does give us some meat.
No, I understand, but the state could still override that, what you're saying that you're putting in there.
But this doesn't prevent a homeowner from doing their project. So if you want, some for your home, this isn't to prevent that. This is to prevent, like we've got one going up on Houghton Hill Road that's a 5 megawatt.
5 megawatts.
Some smaller ones until we get our zoning rewrote, because like we said a month ago, when we wrote it, we were cutting edge. But technology has changed so fast in the last 10 years, we're kind of outdated. And so the county planning is also working with all the municipalities. All the municipalities got together and agreed we would try to do a uniform solar law in the county. If that's going to pan out or not, I don't know, but we are working with them, and definitely Homer will be updating, which we'll have in the future, a new law written that we'll have to pass to combat some of the stuff that we overlooked years ago.
What's the threshold? So you got homeowners doing solar, and then what's that moratorium on for wattage? Did it say in the?
Yeah, there's no wattage restriction, but it's not going to prevent any residential development, which is for use of generating energy for use on site.
What's the moratorium on though? So you got your mega New York State approved, and then you got, what's the middle that moratorium is affecting?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really going to apply to like your community solar. They call it community solar, that's what the state calls it, but it's anything from like, it's commercial energy development from zero is not the number, but 0 to 5 megawatts. 5 megawatts is the cutoff. Yeah, and it does apply to larger, but the state could come in and preempt with the Office of Renewable Energy siting.
Or us, right?
Oris, yep.
Yeah.
What's Farber's? What's Farber's size?
5 megawatt.
There's this much. It's
Yeah.
just over that.
That's community solar.
It's just under the threshold where it goes up the step.
Yeah, once you get to 20 megawatts, then it goes to the state and they start preempting. Yeah.
Any other questions, any comments from the public on that one?
One quick question, just clarification. It only address residential zoning and everything else, right? So if you wanted to put panels on the roof of your business, this moratorium affects that, right?
No. Doesn't affect, as like Dan just said, for consumption on the premise. So if I want them for my house, we still have the
Well,
ability.
he used the word residential, not commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just wondering,
You're right.
I'm sorry to be pinned down.
No, that's all right.
Would be small commercial too, would be, that's allowed. We're looking at a bigger project. We're not trying to limit what a homeowner or a small business, because they're gonna consume the power there. I couldn't put enough panels on to run my place, so.
Putting up batteries, maybe.
So just a procedural question. So this is gonna be voted on tonight, so
No.
it's not, it's just a public hearing.
Tonight at the public hearing on the moratorium, because it had to go to the county,
Okay,
and the county hasn't commented back. We were hoping they were gonna come
I
back.
see.
Now, we talked about this a month ago.
Right, so really the question I'm getting at is if a member of the public wanted to read this moratorium law, where would they find it right now?
They can call the clerks and, we will put it on our website.
Yeah, we should have it on there.
I can't find it on the website, that's why I'm asking, I was kind of surprised.
So you might check the calendar, there's sometimes a dot,
Okay,
so,
We're still dealing with our new website. We're hoping within 2 weeks gonna go live. I know we keep saying that, but we're on the developer,
understood,
which is gonna be a lot friendlier to use. We know we're struggling with this.
understood.
yeah, but if you call me or email me, I can send it to you.
Okay, I'm not worried about, I've heard what I need to know about it, but I'm just asking for the public, that's all.
No, absolutely, absolutely, it should be out there, yeah.
Thanks.
Apologies, but just to double check, so this is not being voted on tonight?
No.
Got it.
Because it has, to do this one correctly, the tax cap does not, but this one had to go to the county. They'll let the county review it. We were hoping they would have it done, but it's on the calendar,
It will go to their next meeting, so it's a few weeks away.
so it's a few weeks, so we'll have it for next month, and that gives everybody a chance to review it and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a company, what's that?
I was just gonna say, unfortunately, with the timing of the town board meeting and when the county meets, we always end up getting pushed out like a month and a half because we meet after their meeting. So,
But this isn't a killer or anything like that, we just wanna make sure we're doing it and getting our ducks in order. Okay, no more comments on the public law, then I'm gonna close that part of the hearing. So now, we're gonna stop for just a second and introduce, so I'm gonna turn this over to Brooke and to Sarah. Brooke, you wanna introduce her, and then Sarah, you explain the process, and then I'll let you, tell us something about yourself.
So we hired a new deputy clerk, about a week ago, I'd say, week and a half. So she starts on Tuesday, and this is Lindsay. I'm very excited for you to be on board. But we went through the interview process. We were very impressed by your resume, Lindsay, and we can't wait to get her going next week.
Sarah, you wanna say anything about the process?
Yeah, no, we had some good responses to the advertisement that we put out. We held some interviews in here last week. There were some very highly qualified candidates, but you definitely stood out, and we were the most impressed. And your commitment we were very impressed with your commitment to your community, moving back here, wanting to be a part of the community here, and felt you were very qualified. I'm excited to bring you onto the team.
So would you tell us about yourself and why you'd like what you told us at the board, at our interview?
Hello everyone, my name is Lindsay Van Hubert. I was grew up here, my whole family is here 3 or 4 generations back. I graduated from Homer High School. I went to school at SUNY Delhi. I have a bachelor's in architecture. I did live in Maryland for a few years. My husband was active military on Fort Meade. He's also from Homer. And 2 years ago, we decided to move back home because we wanted to start a family. So we moved back home, and I've been working in Ithaca. We now have a 1-year-old son named Theodore. And I wanted to find a job that was more community focused and also closer to home. So my grandma actually saw the clerk deputy role in the newspaper, and my family was like full supportive, very excited for me. So yeah, I was very interested in finding a more community facing role and really just helping out the best I can for Homer.
She does actively serve on the Village Garden Club too.
I do, yeah. I'm part of
Which
the
is-
Homer Village.
Which was really
That was a little
nice.
extra bonus
Yeah.
on
An
it.
extra bonus.
And you live in the village?
No, I live in the village. I live on
No
Cherry.
cat, no poaching.
Dang it.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to be a part of this board committee group.
We're lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
You're welcome. So
Very excited.
what's gonna happen is the clerk has the authority to hire, just like our highway superintendent, and later tonight, we're gonna approve the pay package. So that'll be here. So we'd like to welcome you aboard, but at this point, you need to be sworn in, so we're gonna ask Brooke to swear you in. Not swear at you, but to swear you in.
So we'll just
That may
stand.
come later, but.
We'll both stand. So do you, Lindsay, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of Deputy Town Clerk, Tax Collector, and Deputy Registrar?
I do.
Perfect. And then I'll have you sign. Right here. And congratulations.
So thank you very much and welcome aboard. And our first day was a holiday, so we made it the second.
What's a holiday?
What's that?
What's a holiday?
I
know.
We're wrong profession.
I know.
So you're welcome to stay or you're welcome to go, because we know you got
Yeah,
a
nobody
long
will
day
take
and you got a
us.
young baby
Go
at
home,
home.
be
So
with
Yeah, I do
family.
have to get
so
be
don't
home
feel
for
embarrassed
bedtime.
to leave, but we appreciate you coming tonight. We look forward to having you.
Thank you everyone.
Okay, so we'll move right on into the bills, general bills.
General bills. Vouchers 275 through 318. For $360,342.17. The prepays were going out, which were the smallest part of the whole thing. We've been paying our 30-day invoices for the construction. There is a whole bunch more documentation that is coming through the paperwork now, which upon audit led me to the clerk, Polly, to find out how we're dealing with retainage and things of that nature as these things get approved. And as I understand it, the engineers are authorizing payment, and step in if I'm wrong, they're authorizing the payment. It's going to our supervisor / project clerk of the works, Supervisor Park, who is keeping the detail on that cumulative, and I did review those records from you today. And then goes to the clerk for payment, and then to the auditor, town board members, which was me. So there's a pretty good path going. It's going to get a little complicated with all the trades, because all the trades are billing separately. I think we're pretty good with the system that is showing up here.
So actually, the way the process works, the GC or whoever sends us a bill, one of the trade contractors sends the bill to the engineer. The engineer will sign off that they completed that scope of the work with the price tag on it, and then it gets sent to me. And then if I agree with it, then I reach back out to the contractor and tell them to send me an invoice to match their continuation sheet. It's an AIA contract, then they'll send us the invoice. I developed a spreadsheet where we track everything, and anybody can look at the spreadsheet at any time, and then it goes to the clerk, she'll write the voucher, and then you guys audit it. So we've got a pretty good control system. We're spending a lot of money. We're gonna spend $1.5 million or so. We also changed our supervisor's reports. We come up with another column of 9,000. And that's just gonna be tracking for capital expense, because I don't want it to skew our normal budget, because it's not coming out of the normal budget line. So right now, if you took it out of that by the end of the year, it would really skew things for next year developing a budget. So we're making those adjustments, and thank you, Kevin, for it's a bigger process now.
Yeah, it is, and it flowed real well, was what I thought it would. So I'm happy to make the motion to approve vouchers 275 through 318 for $342.17.
I'll second it.
Second it. Any other questions on that? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Highway bills.
I looked through the highway bills. Everything looks good. We're gonna approve vouchers 130 through 137 for $43,694. We made a switch this year. We bought a bunch of sand from Homer Gravel, and I think that worked out quite well. So
Yeah.
we're all ready to rock for winter time, I think.
Yeah.
With material wise, and then I think we wrapped up the last of our bill with Suco. So I make a motion to pay $43,694 for highway bills.
I'll second it.
Any questions, comments on highway bills? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Monthly reports. So entertain a motion to receive and file our monthly reports.
I'll make the motion to receive and file the chief's, clerk, code, dog, highway, and supervisor report, monthly report for September, which is for October.
I'll second that.
Any questions, comments? Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, privilege of the floor. Okay. Highway superintendent, where's he hiding?
Things are great over at the highway department. Last month, I was telling you guys, we finished our renovation on our cold storage. We're now moving into that. The past 20 days, we've been going through all the stuff we put in our existing shop and moving into our new addition. We're building some new tool. We're going through everything. So it's 30 years of cluster that but I'm there every day with the guys at 5:45. The guys are working hard. It's really coming together. We got great help. Everybody's on time every day. And it's also going to make things a lot easier for winter. We've got our salt hauled in. We've got our salt for the year already hauled in. Plus, I've got extra coming. We didn't have any problems last year because I had ordered some ahead of time. But with I figured if we have it, then we have it. We don't have to mix. We don't have to worry about getting it. There's a shortage anyway. So we've got the salt we need. We have the aggregate we need. We've done some research and people reached out. We've got some good prices. Salt is that's bid by the offices of general service ahead of time. So that's set. But and then there's a fuel surcharge on the fuel for trucking it in. That can vary, but So we've got that, they're gonna come and mix it, they mix it 50/50, they stack it for us and mix it and treat it as well. And we also have some different cutting edges on our trucks we're gonna try out. They're supposed to scrape the road better, so we're gonna use, hopefully the roads will be better and cost, and we'll use less material for around the same price even, so better product, same price. We've done I've called a lot of towns and talked to a lot of different municipalities, and it seems to be the way to go. It's a little bit of a change from last year, so it'll be a little bit of a learning curve, but we're working at stuff every day. Now, as far as road stuff, we did do some more oil and stone. And oil and stone's a very cost-effective way. It gets a little bad. There's some loose stone for a couple of weeks, but it's a very cost-effective way to extend the life of your road or make it nice. And all the municipalities do it really, other than maybe a village or state. But then we swept it this week. Our last roads, they've come out real nice, and they'll continue to get better as the rain hits them and stuff. Of course, we're working on our seasonal roads. We've got those pretty much done. Tree work, that's all year round. We've done some tree work around the area. We had that rain last night. We haven't had rain in a long time. Nice some trees down around today. Doing some tree work. We're helping other towns get their stuff done. They help us out. And we're cleaning and organizing the shop. Our new hire, he's got a carpentry background and mechanical background, so he's been huge helping us build stuff. It's really coming together. We've been patching roads. We have some roads that have never, that we didn't have enough money to pave them, so we have to patch them. There was a little drag box, and we'll patch them by hand to get us through the winter, get some smooth. And then our plow trucks, which is a huge, we're getting our plow stuff ready. That's a huge, we said it takes a couple days to get these trucks together, and then you gotta make sure everything works and adjust it, and then if it doesn't work, get it working, get it somewhere, get it fixed, get it taken care of, so. Yeah, it really helped. Thank you for all the help and support.
We appreciate it, Kyle, so don't run away, because we had a couple more issues to deal with your department. One of the things, and this is gonna be a surprise to you and to everybody else, but I was thinking that in the next few weeks, and I wouldn't mind some feedback from the public right here, right now, is that we have an open house at the highway department on a Saturday or some from 10 to 2, we'll have some donuts or something, and invite the public to come down and see what their tax dollars are doing. Because this building is phenomenal, what we've accomplished there, and to see where the money is going. I think it would be a great outreach.
Big time.
So, I don't know, what does the board think of that? Does that sound like a decent idea?
I like the idea.
Yep.
So I think we'll get it, I'll work with Kyle, and we'll get it scheduled, and we'll get it in the Homer News and stuff. And say we're gonna have an open house, come on down and check out where your tax dollars are going, you have the equipment there, and they can look at everything. So we'll set it up on a Saturday afternoon, I think would be the best bet.
One question for Kyle, is the heat in the place, they're gonna be like 70 or?
80, come on.
I know you put all this new stuff in for heat.
That's a good question.
I mean,
so we've ran it at 50. We've been doing this for a while with our type of heater and our facility. That seems to work the best. That's probably it. That works. It's.
You have no dividers in it, right? No dividers, so you get, like, if you're working on a truck and you want it warmer, you gotta heat the whole building to 70.
The radiant heat is
Okay,
in sections, so it's not no.
okay.
So that, no, I don't believe, the other thing is.
Each radiant heater is on its own thermostat, you can turn up the radiant heat,
so
and
the
the radiant
sections-
heat heats the object and not the air, so you would feel the warmth where you're working.
Okay.
That's why we did it that way.
As far as the heating bill go, we've talked about this and then went over every, with the efficiency of the new building being proper up to code.
Yep.
And what we fixed, the heaters have never been maintained. They've never been serviced. We went through everything. We put seal on the doors, the overhead doors. And we're very conscious of electricity, gas usage, everything. Make sure the guys up there at 545, make sure the guys are taxpayer dollars.
Okay, let's move on, we gotta keep going, we got a big agenda.
Yeah.
Sorry, but, okay, so the next part is for the highway salt spreader for Dodge 3500. So Kyle got a couple of quotes, and this is a state quote also, so it's Boondocker equipment. We talked about this in the past, it's a new 8-foot Boss, pintle chain, salt spreader to go back in the back of the 3500 to 1-ton truck. That truck has a plow and everything on it. And go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, we've got 4 10-wheeler routes, and we've got a backup 10-wheeler to those. And we've got 2 small truck routes, 450s with singers on them. But we don't have a backup to that. This will be a backup to that. It's also, if you get ice, the big trucks are useless. You have to go out basically with the small trucks. It's a lifesaver. So it'll be a backup to that ice. It'll also be, I get calls at 2 o'clock in the morning from 911. We've got a house on fire. Can you come out? Yep, no problem. That'd be perfect to get out. We've needed this for years, and it'll be a great asset for us.
So the price is $7,825. The funds, we reappropriated the funds from when we sold equipment.
Yep.
So that money will be used towards this, which we talked about months ago. So that's where the funding is coming from, so, and he's still well within his budget. So I would need a motion to authorize the purchase of the salt spreader for $7,825.
I'll make a motion to pursue a new Boss VBX 8000 Salter for the 24 Ram 3500 for $7,375. Nope, that's not right. $7,825.
It's getting a helper block, so
Yep,
put it in
okay.
for the weight.
Okay, good.
But in that box will be transferable when the Dodge wears out, that'll go into another
Truck,
truck.
yep.
So it's not like it's built specifically for Dodge.
Yeah, they're easy to transfer.
It's stainless and power.
Okay, so you're making the motion, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
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 Approved. Go ahead and order, Kyle.
Awesome, yeah. We've done our research on this box too. It's a good box.
I trust you.
Thank you, appreciate it, yeah.
So the next thing you have in your packet there is the authorize the temporary discontinuance and maintenance of seasonal limited use of highways in the town of Homer. We do this every year. It needs to be done in October because we have to, once it's approved by the board. So Kyle goes through, lists the roads, the miles may change, like Vernon King, that changed because there's being a house built there that we are maintaining. If you remember back a few months ago, that's up by where Sarah lives. And that's another reason we need a smaller truck because that's not accessible to a 10-wheeler at this point in time. But anyway, so he listed the roads in front of you. We need to approve that. It'll go in the paper, so it takes effect December 1st to April 1st. So I'll need a motion.
Make make a motion authorizing temporary discontinuance of the maintenance of seasonal limited use highways in the town of Homer for the following on the proposed sheet supplied by Superintendent Kyle Bean. I might as well just read it into the record. Foster Road, half a mile. Burhans Road, half a mile. Wolf Road, 0.25 mile. Grange Road, 0.75 miles. From Rice Road to Brake Road. Brake Hill Road, 0.5 miles. Rice Road, 0.5 miles. Caraway Hill Road, 0.25 miles. McDonald Road, 0.25 miles. Sessions Hill Road, 2.5 miles. Vern King Road, 0.75 miles from house number 5799 to Sessions Hill. Maxon Road, 1.7 miles from Sessions Hill. Forbes Road, 0.87 mile. Chapman Road, 0.75 miles. Searles Road, 0.5 miles. Dillon Road, 0.25 miles. From December 1st, 2025 to April 1st, 2026. Make that motion.
Second.
A second.
Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So you get that in. Parking lot signs been put in, as you'll notice, are over along the side there and over here. Many thanks to our highway department for taking care of that for us and getting them in. They look very good and they seem to be effective. I see people parking in there the correct way, and it's a lot of activity going on right now with all the contractors here, so much appreciated. All right, preliminary budget, here we go. So page 2. So it's a 41% tax increase, which translates to 55 cents per thousand. Yeah, you're good for that.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks. The tax increase is you don't include your fire rate on your base tax rate, because that's set by a different district. So higher your Homer Fire Protection District, that's $217,000. That doesn't change. That's a negotiated price. So we're going from $1.34 to $1.89 for 2026. So our overall tax rate is going to go from $2.32 to $2.87. The majority of that, as I've said, we lost basically $160,000 to sales tax. I've only got one way to make that up. That's through property tax. We had a 20% increase in property insurance. We had an 18% increase in health insurance. So we've had some huge increases, but the biggest jump was in sales tax, which, if you remember, I've been telling everybody for the last 6 months this was coming, and I projected between 40 to 50 cents, and we're at 55. I mean, we didn't inflate everything. Fred helped me tremendously on this. Fred Forbes is our bookkeeper and past supervisor. I'd be lost without him. Helped tremendously on this, and we spent many hours developing this budget. To be fair, we had there's increases for some salaries. There is an increase for the board. I put that in there from 2,500 to 5,000. We want to be able to attract good people to the board positions. I appreciate our board. We're doing more is expected of them, so there's more work going on. That's why the increase, it hasn't been raised in a number of years. So that's why I penciled that in there, so that just takes us to 20,000. It is a substantial increase, but also we're doing more. There's more requirements on what the towns do now. We're busy. We're extremely busy. Highway superintendent and our judges' salaries are all right here on the front page. So board, I'll entertain, I don't think I need to go line by line unless you want me to. Do you have questions, concerns? Of where we're at? Yes.
Just to re-speak, I think what you said, I may have missed it. We have a tax levy increase, okay, at the percentage that you said, which is 55 cents per thousand, which on the average house price in the town of Homer at 200,000, okay, would be about $110 total per household on an average $200,000 house. Okay, we lost 157 and change, okay, from the sales tax from the Cortland. Okay, that is a direct reflection in this 2026 tax year because of that. We would not have experienced that if that had happened. Some history that I want to give in, and I think the budget's fine. I think what you guys did was tremendous. All right. In 2017, we had 0%. In 2018, we raised it 1 cent. In 2019, we had 0%. In 2020, we had 0%. In 2021, we had 0%. In 2022, we had 1 penny. All right. So for the last 12 to 15 years, we've had basically no increases. And the reason for that is because of things that we've done by not bonding, by being smart and creating the financial program that we've used to gain interest income, okay, which has done well for us. So we have a lot of mechanisms in here that are working to help bring that down. And you're seeing that in this particular budget this year, and I think you're going to see it again next year, and I think it's going to be fine. All right, we're going to lose another $70,000 next year. All right, whether or not sales tax plateaus, I think it's going to. I don't know how our durable goods are going to keep going. I don't know how the restaurants and general sales tax is out there. Cars, couldn't tell you. Okay, everything is high. But to have this come out like that, and again, it's a tax levy rate at that percentage, but we need to get it into the household at about $110 per household, okay? And that is gonna put us in a real good situation over every other town, okay? I think a lot of things we've done in the past 10 years are working for us today, and it's gonna help us stay a little bit sharper, a little bit lower than the other towns. I feel for the other towns. I do. I think you guys did a good job.
You can look it up. We are the second, we're number 2 in the lowest tax rate in the state right now. Even with this increase, I still think we're gonna be number 2 as the lowest town tax rate. Granted, we don't have a lot of moving parts in our town, so that is one thing. You know, you can't compare us to a town like Cortlandville. Cortlandville has a lot more moving parts. Whereas we're a large town, but we're a small town. You know what I'm saying? We don't. So we're fortunate there. This town is blessed. It's always been well run. We're doing all the building remodeling on reserves. This budget was balanced without reserves. I said I will not balance our budget on reserves. This is going to continue to be able to build some reserves. We have to have a healthy reserve. We're going to be able to pay cash for a dump truck we bought. We're going to be able to pay cash for a tractor that's coming in. We're paying cash for our building project. And this is a fiscally sound budget that's going to help Homer stay sound. And that's what my goal was, and we achieved it, I believe. So this is where we're at. So you guys, this is the preliminary budget, so you've got all month to look at it, make suggestions, and we can modify it. This is your first blush at this. We worked hard on this, and we're getting it out there. It's made to the public, so feel free to comment and ask questions if you like. Next month, the board members, if you see something change, talk to me about it, because that changes all the percentages. I don't want to come in here next month and try to have to make all these adjustments. We have to adopt the budget next month. So if you've got something, let me know, and we'll look at it, and we'll talk about it if I got to make the adjustments, because that could affect my tax rate just a little bit. And like I say, if you've got questions, feel free to contact me. We can sit down in the office or whatever. There's a lot of numbers here to absorb. But again, our insurances, health insurances took a tremendous jump. That has been pretty stable. But again, it's not blaming our health consortium. Everybody's hands are tied. Everything is right now is in flux. Questions, thought? Everybody
have-
good with it?
Do you have any idea when will the reassessment be done? And when will that,
That will be done at
Take
the end of
effect.
2026, so that would take effect in 27.
7, okay.
So when the assessment, most likely you'll see our tax rate go down again because there's a reassessment and the town becomes more valuable. Just because the town becomes more valuable, we're not gonna spend more money, we're gonna adjust it. So you could see a significant lowering. I can't guarantee, I don't have a crystal ball. That's usually how it works. As our value goes up, our tax rate will come down because we only need to raise, we're not gonna raise the budget because we can, we're only raising the budget because we need to. But that's a year away, yes. Letters went out, everything is progressing on that. Any other questions, thoughts? If not, then we're gonna move on. Okay, so now you see why we're gonna go to the tax cap law. Dan has already read it, right? It's the same. Or is it
That one, yes, I read the law.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'll need a motion to approve the law because we have to have this in place to exceed it. There's no way I can meet the 2%.
There should be a proposed resolution in your packet.
Everybody has it, yes. So take a second, read it over if you haven't, and then I need a motion to move this forward and I'll second. Mike, did I answer your questions?
Yeah. Actually, I had asked about why the big increase in the top of salary as well.
New clerk coming on, so she's not getting insurance, and we'll go over the employment, so she's not getting insurance, so by offsetting the insurance, that lowered our insurance premium, but we gave her a little bit of an offset in her salary. We also bumped Brooke up as she's took on more responsibility, so it balanced.
Thanks.
Okay. So somebody make a motion?
Being duly heard at a public hearing, local law number 2 of 2025, I make a motion that we pass the law to override the tax levy limit for the fiscal year 2026.
Second.
Second. You're recording moves because we're gonna have that on this here. Any other discussion on the tax law, on overriding the tax cap? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carried. That gives us a super majority, so we should be good. We have to send this into the state. Is that something you do, Dan? or-
Yeah, I've got to file it with the Department of State.
Okay, so you get with Brooks and we'll get the
Yep.
right paperwork?
I've got the paperwork here, so we
Okay.
can take care of it before we leave.
All right. Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
So now I want to set the public hearing on the budget, which will be, I want to set that for November 12th at 6:30. Do we have to vote on that one, Dan? Okay,
Yeah, just motion to set the public hearing.
all right, so we'll need a motion to set the public hearing on the budget, to adopt the budget, November 12th at 6:30 PM. So I'll make that motion, I don't make them very often, so I'll make the motion. So we'll need a second on that.
Also second.
Any discussion on that? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried, okay. So the next one I had on here was a moratorium for proposed local law. We're not voting on that. That'll be back on the agenda for next month, once the county waives.
Yeah, and sorry, Miles, to clarify, I didn't give you a very good answer earlier. It prohibits major solar energy systems, which is defined in the zoning as any project that requires more than 3,000 square feet of panels. So it refers back to the zoning.
Okay, so there's a objective metric.
Yes,
That's
yes,
gross.
yeah. And Brandon, I think that probably hits on your question too. Okay.
So it's more than 3,000 square feet of panels for a residence would not be able to?
That would be considered a major solar installation, yeah, so it would be prohibited for the period of the moratorium, yeah. Yep. And there's a carve out for farms too, if you're installing a system that's larger than, that does fit into the major category, there's a carve out to allow that if the system is designed for production to be used on site. There's an agricultural carve out.
Through this faster than I thought we would be. Okay, is that it on that? Okay, so clerk? Brooke, you're up.
Basically, that we had the town superintendent come in and install some of higher blinds in this room, the clerk's office, and also in Fred's office.
She's getting to be a whiner. Why did you come see her screen, the sun shining on
About
her?
10:30, I can't see my computer at all, just because of, so the highway guys installed those, so that was good. We hired Lindsay, that was a huge feat, and quicker than I thought would happen, so. But other than that, Donna's out, we passed around a card, she fell and is out for 4 weeks, so we're down to just me. But
Don't get
I'm
sick.
surviving, I'm doing fine, we got our head above water.
Don't leave us.
I'm not leaving. But other than that, just day to day, surviving and making everything happen. So,
Brooke's done phenomenal. We really appreciate your effort. And above board, it's a lot of work, even to get your board meetings ready. I mean, it's a lot of, I came down 2 hours last night just to help put some of this stuff together for her because I know she was overwhelmed. So it's a phenomenal effort from Brooke, and we really do appreciate it. We also gave her the freedom during the week to take an afternoon and shut the doors, lock the doors, so she could get caught up. Because one person, this is a busy office. I don't know how other towns do it, but we are extremely busy here. And people love coming here due to her personality and Heather's, and now I think with our new Lindsay, got that type of a personality. So again, we thank you, Brooke. I really do. It's well deserved what you're doing. So the next thing in your packet, we got the employment agreement. I'm a firm believer that we need to write an agreement. We did with our highway guys. So you should have it you need to read it over. So this spells out the compensation, what it's based on. That's an hourly position. It has to be an hourly position, but it's based on 35 hours per week. And we've already talked about it, so they'll keep track of their hours, and that's how they get paid for that position. So it's a $44,863 a year position based on 1,820 hours, 35 hours per week. But then it goes out to spell out, their days off and probationary period. They're on a 90-day probationary period. During the probationary period, they can acquire 2 sick days per month. And then after that, it jumps to their 10 sick days. So they won't get another 10 plus those 2, but it'll be a total of 10 for the year. So the probationary period, if Brooke is happy, she'll say, yep, your probationary period is up. She'll let us know, and we sign all the other paperwork. She's opted out of getting any health insurance. And I believe she opted out of an HSA. Am I right there?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's no HSA, so we offset it, her salary, by doing that because health insurance is very expensive. So we offsetted it somewhat, not the full amount because that wouldn't pencil out. We made sure it penciled out. So this is the package that we got to vote on. She's agreed to it. She's happy with that, and so I need a motion to
Set the pay rate, yep.
the pay rate set on there.
Yep.
Again, I jotted down my ideas. I give it to Dan, and he puts it together and makes me look good. Thanks, Dan.
I make a motion that we accept the employment agreement for Lindsay Van Hubert.
We do have a spelling error on Lindsay, so her final one we will change. It's a capital H, not a small h. Brooke picked that up earlier tonight, so we will make that correction.
I'll second that.
Second that. Any other discussion on that? Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Thank you. All right, so our historian wants to go to a conference. Matter of fact, he's already signed up for the conference. So he signed up for the conference and some hotel. So he's in, we're very fortunate with Martin. He does a phenomenal job for the town and the village. He writes books, writes articles. He's written some books and he's up for an award. So this is very special for him to go to that.
Aw.
So, with that being said, he's well overspent his budget, so I gotta make a budget adjustment. We've gotta do a budget adjustment of, I need to do one for $787. Because we funded his pictures and some other stuff, so he's done spent, but this means a tremendous, this is very tremendous for him and it means a lot to him. I feel we should do this.
Where is the conference?
He's not gonna be very far away, it's up in Casanova.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he wants to stay for the, I won't say the word right, camaraderie of the people.
Camaraderie.
Come on, there we
He
go.
wants to party.
Yeah. I don't know if he's a big party animal or not. But, I mean, you know, the articles he writes, the guy is a walking treasure, he really
Yeah.
is.
We're lucky to have him.
Yes, we are.
Bunch of Greek patties, he really-
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, I'm gonna have to go back and check the village budget, because I'm sure that's coming next with him.
Well, I was gonna hit you up, you wanna go 50-50 on this? Since he is 50% village. Okay, so we need a motion, so we can afford to do it. I'm just, we're not gonna take it out of reserves, I'm just gonna move a couple lines around, but what we normally do, it's all good, but I need your authority to do this.
I'll make the motion that we spend the money necessary to allow him to do this. 700 and, how much did you say?
$787.
That's it?
I
787.
think he has mileage too. He'll have mileage.
Well, I bet he can eat the mileage, he's doing great, man.
Just make it 900 or something.
What's that?
Just make it $900.
I'm good with it, whatever you good with
That's
that?
not my motion, I just.
900 total, is that what you said?
Not to exceed 900.
That's
There
fine,
you
$900 total.
That was
I only
second.
said it because he mentioned.
No, that's fine.
That's fine.
Somebody second it?
I'll second that.
Second. Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? He'll be happy. Okay, Scott Road escrow agreement, and this is on, you've got it in your packet there. And this is on the solar complex that's going up on Raleigh Farber's land. We've been in negotiations. This is something that we're pushing hard, that we want. It wasn't written into our law and stuff, but this is something that we decided we needed, and we're pushing it to all the solar companies. They agreed to this. They were ready to write us a check. But I said, no, we can't do that. We gotta have board approval on it. So what we went for, so any engineering, any excess costs for lawyers and for checking it out, for any costs that occurred by the municipality above and beyond normal, they will pay for it. So they're gonna establish a $20,000 escrow account. And once it gets pulled down to $5,000, it'll be refunded. Again, this is something that you put together, correct? Am I explaining it right?
Yep, so they initially fund 20,000. Once, if it gets spent down to 1,000, they'll put an additional 5 and they'll continue to do that until we either see the light at the end of the tunnel or whatever, if the project's done. And actually this escrow carries through interconnection, so a lot of times these agreements terminate when the permit is issued, but that doesn't make any sense. We want to be able to hire an engineer to be there for site inspections throughout construction.
I like it.
And they agreed to it already. Like I said, they were ready to sign and give us a check, but
Yeah,
we need to do the things the proper way. And this is important because, you know, our budgets are tight. I don't want the town to be spending a lot of money, and we don't need to. They're making money off this.
I know this is a little bit different off topic of this, but can you explain again? Because I've had lots of conversations about this stuff that's going on, and people have asked, why is it, or what part of this, when a when property goes into, when an agreement happens with these solar companies and property goes into these projects, they are no longer, the municipalities no longer receive tax dollars for that property, right? They become,
No,
Or
my
is it-
understanding is.
how's that working?
Dan,
It's really case by case, so some of them pay full assessment, but that's crazy if they're doing that because they can ask the county for a pilot. So the IDA negotiates typically a pilot and a host community agreement with the solar developer. And it actually works out in favor, it works out better for the towns because the town of Homer will collect more on a host community agreement than it would if it was taking its percentage of the property tax.
that's why I just haven't been able to wrap my head around.
Yeah.
If it's farmland and it's being taxed so many hundreds or thousands of dollars per year, and once solar panels go on, how does that affect how it's taxed for?
So there's still the underlying tax on just the value of the land before the development. That still stays there. So the property owners, or could be the developer, pays that tax, continues to pay that. But they don't pay a true assessed value on the improvements.
Well, the equipment, like
Right.
the equipment that's on there.
So that's
Okay.
where the pilot comes in.
Okay.
So
the land is still taxed,
Yeah.
basically the
Yeah.
same, but the increased value
from the improvements.
from the improvements
Yeah.
isn't.
That's not typically taxed because it could be, but once they request a pilot, then that goes away and the pilot payment is.
and we'll get into a little more of that in just a minute.
Yeah, sorry,
No, you're
it's
fine.
been on my mind and I keep forgetting.
So I need a motion that we can accept this so we can get this in there. And this will be put into an escrow account, it'll only be spent, and any money that's left over will be returned to them.
I'll make the motion that we authorize the supervisor to sign the escrow agreement for the payment of municipal engineering, consulting, legal expense, and other agency fees for the town of Homer.
Any second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion on that? Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So I'm gonna expand on that a little more. So just been extremely busy. So Monday we met with this group, this guy, so escrow account. These people here talking about a pilot and everything. And I'm miserable, so I'm holding out for the most biggest share that we can possibly get. The county was here, and I asked them, what are they doing here? Because this is the town's money, not gonna be the IDA's money, and they said, no, we agree with you. So I'm going for 50%, which is unheard of, but I want 50%, and then the county will still get some, and we'll get 13% of that, so we're looking at potentially 63%. Told them that's the only thing I'm gonna entertain at this point in time. We're not gonna queer the deal, but they've got the money and we're gonna hold out to get the biggest part of the share. It's the only way we can help offset some of our losses. And I think it'll probably work, and we may have to adjust a little bit, but what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Dan was there, the IDA, our assessor was there, so everybody's in agreement. That's, so I'm on hanging tight.
No,
on
that's
some
good to
of this,
know,
yeah.
right? Because I guess I didn't understand.
Some of this is negotiable.
I didn't
we're
understand what
negotiating.
the pilot, what
Yeah.
was exempt.
Yeah. Whatever total value they agree on for the pilot, the town is able to negotiate with the IDA for a percentage of that. And that's when Mike says 50%. He wants 50% of the pilot for the town.
Yeah, because there's gonna be increased costs in municipality.
Yeah, the town
to
bears the
maintain
burden
roads
of
and-
any project.
Plus a road agreement, I want a road agreement. They gotta videotape the roads and it's gotta be put in light condition when they're done. So we're going all out, we're making sure the town is well protected as best I can. So with that being said, we met with the Homer Solar today, that's the big project that's going. So that was kind of negotiating with them too on the pilot and a host agreement. And So the project, and this is gonna blow your mind, the project was valued at $230 million.
That's their investment.
That's their investment. The taxable part of it is 23 million. The state says, no, you can't tax it. Because that was a sticking point. I was, bringing that right up. This isn't right. If I put up a $5 million building, I'm gonna get taxed $5 million. So where's the advantage? Why are you guys? But that's the state, overstepping their bounds, in my opinion. But anyways, so we're hanging tough on what we're negotiating for a host agreement on there. They offered a number, and we said, no, we want more than that. They said, well, they don't do it anyplace else. We don't care what you do anyplace else. You're dealing with us here in Cortland. This is what we want. The IDA is back in that. Everybody around the table. Solon backed it. Carlinville didn't show up, so I don't know what they're thinking, but they didn't show up to the table because it's between Homer, Solon, and Cortlandville. And of course, the school gets a percentage. And they weren't here either, but that'll be worked out in a different way. So there's some creative ways that they can get a percentage of that. So again, we're negotiating. There's a lot of meetings. That was an hour-and-a-half meeting earlier today, but I'm fighting for every nickel we can get the town of Homer to help offset our taxes.
Where is the proposed location of this, can I ask?
Yeah, this is the big one. It's gonna go up on Shippey Road, and this has been under, actually is where a lot of the windmills are going, and then, was it IDS? I keep getting these.
It used to be EDF.
EDF.
EDF went,
They took it over from the windmills and then converted to the solar.
so AES bought EDF, so it's now AES, and AES may be for sale.
How do you keep that straight?
Yeah.
And it's the other thing that I brought up, we are really working on the decommissioning. We want to make sure however that's tied up, and there's an escalator clause, they're saying 2%, and I don't agree with a 2% increase. I want to see it tied to COLA or something, because 2% isn't going to cut it if inflation's going up. I want to make sure there's enough money there that this can be decommissioned correctly. And that'll be 20, 25 years down the road. I'm not going to have to worry about it, but we're trying to protect the town the best we can. So there's a lot of negotiations going on. This project is going to happen. They have to break ground. They're looking to start cutting trees February.
How many acres of panels are going on in this one?
600. They encompass 2,300 acres total. But it's scaled back to 600. They've got the rights to 23.
They already have their siting permit from ORAS.
This is gonna happen. It's just now we gotta negotiate.
And ORAS is what has basically kicked the DEC out of having any say in any of this, right? That supersedes.
They're the one doing the superseding, yeah.
Yep.
ORAS.
So once again, we'll see how we come out of it. I mean, so they threw some scenarios at us. So anything we get out of that, is gonna help. That's the only other way we have any chance of raising some income for the town of Homer to help offset our taxes. So we'll do the best we can and get the most we can. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Absolutely Clean contract. So I asked them to get us a price to renew this, and you have it in front of you. It's the same price as it was last year. It's $180 a week. It cleans the building. It doesn't include downstairs. That includes up here, the whole upstairs cleaning. They do a fairly good job.
I was gonna say, they're new, right?
What's that?
They're new from last
They
year.
were new this year.
Have you been happy with the?
Yeah, they've always corrected everything when we've had a problem. Yeah, so they're good. The owner came in on a Saturday when I was here working, and he came in the office and we talked. I told him, some of the areas he was missing, so they took great care of it. And so I think overall, Pat, you guys are happy over there, right?
Yeah, no, I haven't heard any complaints.
Yeah, so I think they're doing a very good job. So we'd just like to continue their service, $180 a week, and you can multiply that out. That's what I can multiply it out, but I don't think that. So if you guys are good with this, I want to enter the contract with them.
Is that the same price it was last year?
Yes. And once the downstairs is done, my feeling on that is we'd have to renegotiate maybe a little bit for the community room, boardrooms, Police department, they're gonna have to take care of that because there's gonna be sensitive areas. That's a different animal, we're not gonna get involved with that. What's
We
that?
have our own cleaning.
Right, we won't get involved with that, so it might go up a little bit, we don't know till it's done, so I don't wanna even entertain that, that'll be a budget adjustment, approval from you guys when that happens.
You looking for a motion?
I want a motion so I can sign this contract.
I'll make that motion that we accept them for 180 per week.
I'll second.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. So the lower level update, as I showed you some pictures, they're cruising right along. The water line has been installed, our new water service. Thank you to the village for the water, for help on putting a new water service into the building and also helping us with a sewer connection. At first they couldn't find it, so they scoped it with a camera, we found it. We didn't know, maybe it went out to the river yet, but it didn't.
Scoped it, dyed it.
They did it, and very much thank you to Pat's crews that helped us sort that out. So we're all good, we know where the connections are gonna be, so we're good to going on that. Our gas service is hooked up, the new boilers are hooked, so they're up and running, not our new boilers, but our boilers are hooked in. So we're ready for the cold weather in that regard. We've got to move the electrical service, so we've had some hiccups, but we're working that out with NYMO right now. They're taking the vault out, they're a little behind schedule with the demo unfortunately, but that vault is kicking their butt, it's huge. We've had a little bit of issue with dust control, but we've had some serious discussions with them, so they got it under control right now. It is a little noisy, but everybody is bearing with it very well. That's all we can do, the clerks on both sides. Pat's really getting hammered, Pat and Dan, because it's right under this.
Yeah.
It's almost over, Pat, it's almost.
Thank you, I was.
And then they'll start saw cutting. So once the demo's done, things will start speeding up, we hope, because we're still on schedule to be in here by 1st of February, depending what happens. So as Kevin alluded, so I got some spreadsheets here that you're more than welcome, and I can give each board member a spreadsheet on how I'm tracking this. There's a lot of moving parts. This is what I develop, I use it in my business, but I also use it here. If you want one, Dan, or Kevin, you want one? If anyone in the public, I can make you a copy later. So it's a spreadsheet. So what I did is, so you'll see in your one column says company name. So that's every company that we're doing business with on this project on the top. And then you'll see highway bills added, so I put them on the bottom side. The highway project, thank God, is done. So that takes a big burden off because it's a lot of managing two of these projects, I gotta tell you. That's been a lot on my plate. So we are going through, so I listed every company, the total amount of contracts. The next line over is if there's a change order. So there's been a couple little change orders which we have approved them. And then paid to date, you'll see the next one says paid to date, that's what we paid. Retainage, every one of these but a couple have retainage, so we go back 5% to the end of the project. That'll be paid out once the project's completed, and we as a town board sign off on the project that we are satisfied, and then they'll get the retainage. That's a standard industry practice. And then you see it says lower level bills to be paid, so that's all the bills, that's how I'm tracking everything, so I know what we have to pay at the end of the month. Everybody knows I need the bills before the last day of the month, and they'll get paid at this check run. If they wait to the first of the month, they have to wait another month. And a couple of them tried that and then made them wait because we're not playing games, because there's a lot of money. Fred and I, we budget our money, we look at what we have in our money market and on our accounts, they come due at different times. We're trying to maximize our interest, so we're waiting to the last second to pull our money so we can pay our bills. So we can get maximum interest, again, to help offset taxes. So it's, that's why we're doing it and we're paying close attention to it. So this is how I come up with, and you'll see highway bills. So highway bills, we may have a straggler, but I'm pretty much think we're totally done with the highway bills. And then you see your total, local level, so we paid a total of $338,247. The only one that we may owe yet for the highway department is $1,450 on snow guards. CCC just did that, they haven't invoiced us yet for that. So once we get that invoice, that'll be, I think, the last one on that project. So that's what that sheet is. You guys are welcome to see it, it's on my computer, but I print this out. This is how we track the project, so we know where we're at, okay? And if you wanna see continuation sheets and stuff, I'm more than glad to go over with you that. I get a big packet submitted to me that we gotta keep track of. I gotta have certified payroll, to make sure they're paying the rates right. So there's a lot of moving parts to this, and it's very time consuming, but we'll get through it, and that's where we're at on that. So if there's any questions, anybody wants to see anything close up, I'm glad to go over with you to see how that's taken care of. All right, on to the next thing, Spectrum Northeast. So Spectrum sent us a contract that we have to review and approve, but we have to have a public hearing on it. So they give us all the documents. So I want to set a public hearing for next month. It'll be the same, I didn't write that one. Yeah, public hearing on 11/12/25 for Spectrum. So I'll give you guys a month to review it for the public hearing, and then we'll vote on it next month. Did I miss anything on that, Dan? Yes, Kevin.
Just some perspective, we can set the public hearing. It's not gonna be on the same night as a meeting night, right?
What's that?
It'll be on the same night as a meeting night, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't need a special. But I was actually on the cable commission back in '99, maybe? No, 2000, I forget what year. But anyways, we had a consortium together with this, and if we could pull out our old agreement, we might dig way back to find it. It might be one of the original agreements, and we always opted not to sign it, because the original agreement was way better than this one. But what I'd like to do is put some time in on this and call some of the old city of Cortland, a couple of the other towns that were on these committees with me, and see if anything has changed, or I'm working off of old history that doesn't matter. I don't think we've ever signed one since '90, to be honest with you.
Can you explain a little more I don't totally understand this.
Well,
What is this?
the cable TV franchise was something that went back into the days of Channel 2, where we had a local programming, and it was cable 2 through 13. That was like what we would call cable. And all this other stuff that came out later was like not the original cable. So all of these franchises, in order to get a city or a municipality or something on board, they had to meet certain requirements. They had to provide access, public educational and government access channels at free of charge. They had to provide a location to go shoot a documentary or something of that nature. And we used to have those facilities down in Portland on Tompkins Street. And this is going 25 years back. I don't know if they're at the new location now. So all of that was in there, and part of the thing in there is that they wanted a 15-year agreement. I don't think we ever did a 15-year anything. We didn't train the public to do that, the town anyways. And the one thing that you did get was, if you look on the cable portion of your TV bills, there is a 5% surcharge that they collect and remit to the town. Okay, so there is a revenue stream there. And we've debated that over the years, whether that's too much, too little, should be reduced. And that's something.
But if you don't get cable.
But if you don't get cable, then it doesn't matter. And I think the traditional folks have moved on to, it's not the internet, it's not the streams, it's not anything of those new processes. And it kind of made the franchise agreements kind of antiquated. But there was still some teeth with the public educational and government access components. But they could have all changed. I'll put some time in on it if I
do
can.
that, right?
Okay, and get Chris Perrine, a local guy in Cortland. I'll reach out to him. Jim Forshee, I don't know if you guys remember, Jim Forshee was very big on that. He passed away a few years ago, but I think Chris Prank could give us some information on this. I'll have it ready for you by the next meeting.
All right, so we'll schedule the public hearing, and then it doesn't, you know, we can have this ready to vote on. If we're not ready, it doesn't mean we have to vote on it next month, but we have to have the public hearing.
We can vote no, we can vote yes, or we can just take no action. And I
Right,
think for
so I guess we need a little more history on that. I didn't remember that, Kevin.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I'll dig it out. If you can find that, I think it's Fanch Communications, Fanch, and I think the original agreement went back to like 1980 something. And we never sat down with them. We met for 5 years, but we never did anything. Okay, thanks, guys.
They did email me today wanting to know if we approved this. I said we're talking about something.
Who's your contact? Tom Doheny?
I can find out.
DOHE? I don't-
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Would you forward me that email? Thanks. I'll get something back to the board.
Good. Dan, you got any updates, anything?
Nope.
Anybody hear anything from any of the board members? Meeting adjourned.
Good.
Thank you all very